I had a head-on collision out on the open highway. It was a near-death experience, but that wasn't the absolute bottom I hit. Things actually got a bit worse. 9 months later, I had to have a plate removed from my left femur. And things went wrong. I had to go in for another second operation very close, and I actually died on the operating table.
Hi humans, and welcome along to Mind Detoxing, a podcast that follows the life journey of John, an aircraft engineer in a past lifetime, and now a dedicated kinesiologist. Over the past 30 years, John has developed a truly unique, individualized mind-body healing technique that really forms the heart of this show. Throughout the series, we will explore the deeper layers of healing, understanding the energy levels of our frequency and vibrations, and the different dimensions that we operate in, including our levels of awareness and consciousness. John and I are doing a little crossover with our shows today, Mind Detoxing and You Are the Compass. Now, we discussed an intention, a topic a few days ago, and we landed on that feeling of hitting rock bottom. What that really means on an individual level, or maybe rather the impression of society that we surround ourselves with and how they perceive it. Let's play a quick audio clip for you and we will unpack what that all means in a little bit.
When you hit rock bottom is when you'll make a change. But there's a corresponding place that I call cliff top, right? You could be too high. Where you get so high that you realize literally none of this stuff can make you happy. Right. After you can get to the end of the material world. You get to the end of money. You get to the end of sex. You get to the end of fame. You have so much and then you like go off of a cliff into the same kind of abyss that you'd be scared of slipping into at rock bottom. Right. Where life loses all of its ability to sustain and please you. Right. And then the only thing that's left, the same thing at rock bottom, the only thing that's left at cliff top is you have to find what you're actually looking for, and what you're actually looking for is you. You're looking for you. You're running around, right? When you like a woman and you like being with a woman, it's because you like how you feel. Right. You like what's happening inside of you. When you have money, it's like, yeah, it's cool to buy things, but it's not the money. You like how you feel inside. Right. It's unleashing a feeling inside. And at rock bottom and at cliff top, what you have to learn how to do is generate that feeling without anything external. You have to learn how to like you so much that you like being alive so much that you bring positive energy that's not generated by stuff. Right? Because stuff is coming and going. Right. Like people are coming and going. Everything you have and everybody you love is going to rise and fall in your life. The place that we have to find is a spiritual place where we are good with us. We trust us. I trust myself. I trust God, and I trust life, that whatever happens, I'm going to make happy out of it. I don't need specific things to happen.
John, welcome back to your show, I guess I should say.
A big hi, Jessye, and a big warm welcome to all the audience, or if you were in a hot country, a cool welcome. Great to have you along here for this rock bottom and cliff high stuff. Good to bring that topic up. And yes, we're going to go in, Jessye. We're going to go in very deeply into that. And no doubt our audience out there, somebody at some time has experienced both cliff high and experienced rock bottom. What do you reckon, Jess?
You know what, John? I think I am within those group of people that experience both the rock bottom and the cliff high on a daily basis.
Well, it can be a roller coaster ride for some people, just up and down. Yeah, now the idea is not to sustain whatever you're at forever and ever. You can't do that. You can try doing that with alcohol and drugs or whatever your addiction is, but you keep needing a bit more to top up because it becomes the norm. So you want a bit more of a high. So more alcohol, more drugs, but it's not fulfilling in the long run. Eventually, you fall off the end of the cliff and you hit rock bottom. So I'd just like to tell people how I hit rock bottom. I built a yacht, a reasonably big yacht, 45 foot, went sailing into the Pacific, over to New Zealand, up to the islands, Vanuatu, New Caledonia, came back to Australia, and as a lot of my audience knows, I love motorbikes. I re-registered my motorbike, and 2 hours after re-registering my bike, it was a big one, I had a head-on collision out on the open highway. And it was a near-death experience, but that wasn't the absolute bottom I hit. Things actually got a bit worse. This head-on collision left me with a broken leg. 9 months later, I had to have a plate removed from my left femur. And things went wrong. I had to go in for another second operation very close, and I actually died on the operating table. And to cut a long story short, there I am in hospital. I was only supposed to be in there for 3 days, 4 days. 3 weeks later, I'm still in hospital. So more of this rock bottom stuff. I developed golden staph in there. The second operation, I actually died on the operating table because of administering too similar anesthetic. And there I am with my leg up in the air, and they just announced the stock market crashed. And I had all my money because I sold my yacht. I couldn't go sailing or anything. So I sold the yacht, put a lot of the money into the stock market, and that crashed. And I realized then things can't get any worse. I even said to myself, that's it. It's got to start getting better now. And it did. When I got out of hospital, I had to do a lot of healing work on myself. It was a journey of start to climb back up again. After that, a lot of people have the trouble when they hit rock bottom, they hit the bottle. And that could be a spiritual experience, hitting the spirits. Whiskey, that's a spirit, isn't it? So we can look at that as a spiritual type experience, but I don't suggest you get out of rock bottom that way. But you've got to have the willpower to pull your bootstraps up and climb above this stuff. Interesting enough, I went to a normal GP doctor and he started acupuncture on me. And for a doctor, a normal GP to do that, I was pretty amazed with that. And then I started doing healing courses, and then I came across a course in kinesiology, mind-body healing. And that really set the background for me to start taking big steps forward. As I said, I lost a lot of money in the stock market. I was planning to build another boat, and it was a long journey to make everything happen again. After that big knockdown, it could be a relationship breakup and they hit rock bottom. It could be getting sacked from work. It could be a business failure, going bankrupt. There are many forms of hitting rock bottom, but it's your inner strength to realize there's only one way, and that's up now.
I think one of the things that Will Smith said there, John, with you've got to learn how to generate that feeling inside without any external presence. Can you maybe enlighten us, if you will, on how you sort of did that in the hospital? You know, you'd woken up after that second operation. What feeling were you able to generate in order for you to look at life a different way?
Well, that was a huge change in life because after that near-death experience, as Will Smith said, the journey is going within. Happiness is not out there. Happiness isn't the new Ferrari. Happiness isn't the new boat. Happiness isn't the right relationship or the best job. Happiness comes from within. And if you're not happy with yourself, it's going to be a hard journey. Sometimes you'll get the wake up call to go within, learning to love oneself, being happy inside to rise above the rock bottom. And well, we'll get into cliff top a little bit, and no doubt we've been on cliff tops where, wow, life is so good. And that doesn't mean a high with drugs, alcohol, sex, whatever. It means being up there on the cliff top and just going, wow, being very present. It's so important to be present in your life.
That is so true, John. Being present is such a state of mind, isn't it? I'm sure we all face that struggle from time to time, perhaps if we're being really honest with ourselves on a daily basis. I'm reminded of that thought, and it's always resonated with me. Something along the lines of, on your deathbed or on your dying day, are you going to be happy with the life that you've led? Now, it doesn't matter the cars that sat in your garage, the school education that you bought your kids, or even what house you lived in for the majority of your existence. At the end of the day, it's just going to be you. It sort of begs that question, will you be in a state of regret or in a beautiful place of peace and gratitude for your time and really all the light you've brought in with your presence for however long that was? What's your take on that?
Well, you can't back up the truck and load it all in and take it all with you. I should have done this. I should have been more kinder. Wow, I had a lot of money, but I didn't help other people with it. Or I had gifts and talents for healing, and I didn't help other people. So it's an interesting stage on your deathbed when you lived your life and you've got all this regret and you're about to move on. There's only very few people that have come to the stage where, wow, I've had a satisfying life. I'm quite happy. It's time to move on. Very few people actually get to that stage. And in saying that, most people are searching for happiness. The Ferrari, the boat, whatever. But there's a couple of levels above happiness, and it's joy. And quite often we think, oh, this will bring me joy. That relationship, I'll be happy then. That'll bring me joy. But there's another greater thing above that is to be at peace. Peace with yourself. The real cliff high, the cliff top, when you're up there and you are at peace with yourself. You could be just looking over at the top of the mountain and just in awe of what you see, being very present, not needing anything, not wanting anything, just being happy with yourself. And that takes a bit of work.
That goes both ways. So people that are at rock bottom, in air quotes as society probably calls it, or at the cliff top, that you still have to be and draw correlation to being happy in that moment, sit in it for a minute, and okay, what am I going to do next to improve my situation? And whether that is rock bottom or a cliff top, it doesn't matter. It's still you're working yourself towards that level of happiness, of fulfillment, stemming from your own self and then outwardly project into the world. Can you maybe give us, our listeners, a little bit of an insight in the hospital after you woke up? You call it rock bottom, or it may be, oh, I'm on a cliff top, I've just woken up, I'm on all this anesthetic. How you got yourself out of that point? Did you leave the hospital a couple of days later? Where did your mind go after you woke up?
Oh, it was a couple of weeks later after that particular incident, because I got a golden staph infection while I was there. And when the stock market crashed after that experience, that's when I realized, wow, I've lost all this money that I've taken years to accumulate building a yacht, and then it's just vanished. So you realize you're at the low, and that's where I said before, the choice, you've only got, wallow in that, alcohol, drugs to alleviate the pain, the hurt, or whatever, or climb out of that hole you're in and to go up.
I guess that hole can be metaphorically, whether you're at rock bottom or at a cliff top, that climbing out of it is a metaphorical sense of you may need to climb higher when you're at that cliff top so you don't fall into the abyss.
Yeah. And quite often we look at crutches to help us when we're at the bottom of that low. And for some people, they hit big lows and they think, geez, I'll never get out of this, you know. And it takes a bit of inner strength to realize there's only one way up and not just suppress all those feelings. I'm worthless, I'm helpless, I've hit rock bottom, I feel unloved. It takes a lot of inner strength to want to climb out of that. But you've got to have a shift in attitude. And this is where it becomes a wake-up call for many people, whether it's a business failure, relationship, whatever. It's a wake-up call, and there's a beautiful message in all that. And it's up to you to learn the messages. You can play victim. You know, oh, this person caused my business failure. It was her in the relationship or him that said these things. But you've got to come back and take responsibility. Wow, what's the lesson here and all that? How can I learn and grow from that? And once you get the lesson that you actually needed to learn, you chose to learn on a different level, that's when the penny drops, the light bulb moment comes on, and then you can act out of forgiveness and patience and move forward. What do you think, Jess?
Yeah, it's interesting you said with your accident and you went flying in to hit the car off the motorbike. I think I remember you saying back in the days that that was your first flying experience, and who knows, that could lead to something all the more better years later on.
Yeah, I say that. That was my first flying experience, that head-on collision with a car out in the open highway, but I didn't get the landing right. One of my regrets in life was I got offered an opportunity to get a pilot's license through the Royal Aero Club, and I knocked that back because, no, I don't need that. I'm into bikes, drinking, whatever. And I regretted that for a long time. Eventually, I bought a half-built plane, finished it off, and then got my pilot's license. And that was a beautiful stage in life where I realised live life with no regrets. Sometimes we've got to get off our ass and do something to make things happen, right? But getting my pilot's license and flying across the countryside, it's not about, that'll make me happy. No, it's about probably being up on that cliff top at that particular stage and going, this is so beautiful up here. What you can see, especially up in height in a plane, you're up with the gods sometimes, flying along. And I believe, well, if I can do that, anybody else can do that. I don't think myself anything special. It's just that I'm lucky I've got a bit of determination to see things through.
So, John, if you could sum up for the listeners, maybe an instance of rock bottom for you and how you generated that energy within your mind to get yourself out of that point at rock bottom, not go into the abyss. And then maybe on the counter end of that, you've got this amazing life, it seems, to the outside world. You've got your boat, you've this kinesiology, and you're helping all these amazing people. And that is your cliff top. How do you stay grounded in that sense as well?
That's a beautiful question. And one of my biggest cliff tops was that realization that there's a spiritual side of life, and it's so vast, it's so great, it's so big. It was amazing. And that was a beautiful turning point in my life. The rock bottom, which happened not too long after that, with infections and things going wrong while I was in hospital after that near-death experience, that was the rock bottom when the stock market crashed and my dreams of building another boat all of a sudden seemed to fade away. And I realized, well, okay, I've hit rock bottom and now there's only one place to go up. And it was a lot of healing work, a lot of experience, and regenerating money again. So the dream was still there to build another boat, and that actually took place. And since then, I've had incredible experience of sailing around the world, meeting some amazing people, beautiful ports, and some incredible sailing experience. But it's when I'm sailing along, I realise I'm not just happy, I'm at peace. I'm at peace with myself. That's been a very long journey to find that level of peace. Instead of being a doing person, having to do stuff all the time, you can reach that level. Wow, I'm there. I'm at the cliff top. And that's where it doesn't require material possessions or anything. It's being happy with oneself. So I hope that helps the people to find that journey, that inner journey, to be happy inside, not looking for stuff outside to get that happiness. And life for me now, my highs are a lot higher and longer, and I do get lows like everybody does, but they're shorter and not as deep and seem to come out of them much more quicker back up to that cliff top again. Thank you very much, Jessye, for that experience to express myself there.
John of Mind Detoxing, thank you for bringing your coordinates of north and south over to You Are the Compass. It's been great to chat with you.